Comfort today feels harmless. You skip the workout, you delay the message, you close the document and tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Nothing bad happens. In fact, it feels good. You relax, you scroll, you let the pressure fade, and your brain rewards you for it. But here's the uncomfortable part. Comfort today can quietly become regret tomorrow. Not instantly, not dramatically, slowly, one postponed task at a time. Meet Michael. Michael is 26. 6 months ago, Michael decided he wanted to move into a better career. Not someday, soon. He found an online certification in data analytics, the kind that could actually change his job opportunities. The course wasn't cheap, but Michael felt excited when he bought it. This was the start of something new. The first night he opened the dashboard. Lesson 1, 40 minutes. Michael watched half of it, then he paused the video. It felt like real work. Numbers, concepts, practice exercises. His brain suggested something reasonable. Start properly tomorrow. So he closed the laptop. Tomorrow felt like the responsible choice. The next evening he came home from work tired. I'll study on the weekend, he thought. The weekend came. Friends invited him out. A movie looked interesting. The couch felt comfortable. The course could wait. It wasn't urgent yet. So Michael chose comfort again. Weeks passed. The course tab stayed open in his browser. Sometimes Michael clicked it, just to check. The progress bar still showed the same number, 3%. He would stare at it for a moment, then open another tab. A video, a news article, something easier. And every time he did, his brain felt a small wave of relief. That's how procrastination works. It doesn't feel like failure, it feels like temporary comfort. You tell yourself something simple. I'll do it later. Later tonight. Later this week. Later when things calm down. But later quietly becomes never. Months pass like this. Michael still talks about the course sometimes. When coworkers mention career growth, he says he's working on new skills. Technically, the course still exists. But deep down, Michael knows something. He hasn't opened it in weeks. And slowly, another feeling appears. Guilt. Not loud guilt. Just a quiet thought that visits him late at night. You said you would do this. At first, he ignores it. Everyone procrastinates sometimes. But the problem with repeated delay isn't just lost time. It's something deeper. Every promise you break to yourself leaves a small mark. I'll start tonight. You don't. I'll do it this weekend. You don't. I'll make time tomorrow. You don't. Your brain remembers. And eventually something dangerous happens. You stop believing your own promises. Confidence isn't built by thinking positively. It's built by watching yourself follow through. Michael used to see himself as someone motivated, someone capable. But after months of delay, his self-image starts shifting. Now, when he thinks about finishing the course, another thought appears. Maybe you're just not disciplined enough. That thought hurts more than the unfinished course because it begins changing who he believes he is. One evening, Michael is lying on the couch scrolling through social media. A post appears from an old classmate. The caption reads, "First week at my new analytics job." Michael pauses because behind the caption, he recognizes something. The same course, the exact one sitting unfinished in his browser. Michael sits up slowly. He opens his laptop. The course page loads, 3% completed. For a moment, he just stares at the screen because something suddenly feels obvious. His classmate wasn't more talented, didn't have more hours in the day. He just started when it felt uncomfortable. Michael had waited for comfort, and comfort had quietly stolen months. That realization sits heavily in the room. Because Michael understands something important. Comfort today doesn't look like regret. It looks like relaxation. It feels harmless. The regret only appears later. Later when you realize time moved forward anyway. Michael closes the course page, then opens it again. The same lesson appears. The same resistance rises in his chest. His brain offers the usual suggestion: start tomorrow. But Michael tries something different. He changes the rule. Not 1 hour, not a perfect study session, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes of watching the lesson. That's it. He presses play. 5 minutes pass quickly. The video keeps going. 10 minutes, 15. Something strange happens. The discomfort fades. Because the hardest part wasn't learning, it was beginning. Michael stops after 20 minutes. Not exhausted, just slightly surprised. The next evening, he repeats the rule. 5 minutes. Sometimes it becomes 15. Sometimes it stays 5. But every time he starts, something important happens. He keeps a promise to himself. A week later, the progress bar changes. 3% becomes 10%, then 16%, then 25%. Nothing dramatic, just steady movement. Michael begins noticing something else. The work isn't easier, but starting isn't as scary anymore because his brain has learned something new. Discomfort is temporary. Avoidance is what keeps problems alive. This is where most people misunderstand procrastination. They think they need motivation. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect day, the perfect surge of energy. But motivation is unpredictable. It shows up randomly, then disappears. Systems are different. Systems make the first step small enough that your brain can't argue. 5 minutes. Open the document. Write 1 sentence. Watch 1 lesson. Tiny actions break the cycle of delay. Months later, Michael finishes the course. But the certificate isn't the biggest change. The bigger change is what he believes about himself. He's no longer the person who always starts tomorrow. He's the person who begins today. And that shift changes everything. Because comfort today always feels safe. But the future you want usually starts with a moment that feels slightly uncomfortable. Right now, there's probably something in your life that feels familiar, a skill you want to learn, a project you keep delaying, a step you know you should take. Your brain will suggest the comfortable option. Scroll first, relax first, start tomorrow. But tomorrow has been patient for long enough. So try something simple. Open the document, write 1 sentence, watch 5 minutes, start small. Because progress rarely begins with huge bursts of motivation. It begins with 1 quiet decision. The moment you choose action instead of comfort.